I'm Mary Filice, and I am a first-year tenure track faculty member in the Arts, Entertainment, and Media Management Department of Columbia College Chicago. That's a mouthful. The special concentration that I have here at Columbia is media, and I got involved in media management actually through Ed Morris. And Ed Morris was chairman emeritus of the television department here at Columbia, and he had a long and fruitful career in television broadcasting here in the Chicago area. He got me involved in the teaching aspect as he was starting to experience some ill health, and had me come in and co-teach some classes with him. Unfortunately, he did pass away, and although that was sad, I was lucky to learn so much from him and then be able to continue taking on these classes that he mentored me in. And that's really how I ended up here at Columbia. Before that, I had somewhat of a checkered past. My passion is filmmaking. I'm an independent filmmaker and producer. I've shot a few short fiction films. And that's my love, is being able to tell stories. As well as that, though, because especially up until the last 5 years, there really hasn't been a dominating market or much of a market for short films. I did a number of corporate videos, training tapes, things like that. But I have to admit that for many years, I spent a lot of time in the financial services industry. While I was going for my graduate degree in film and video, I started working 1 day a week for a local brokerage firm. And suddenly that involvement turned into quite a full-time job. And it was very entrepreneurial, as I was instrumental in starting an investment advisory firm, a mutual fund company. We started hedge funds. And so this left side of my brain suddenly took over from my right side, and I spent a good 12 years in that area. But it was very interesting and very fascinating, and actually I blame the nuns for that. My 16 years of Catholic education always said, when you get a job, you do it till it's finished, and then you moved on, and it seemed like nothing was ever finished. Anyway, I escaped financial services, and I was able to return to my love of filmmaking, which I have been doing, and besides Columbia, which is allowing me to pursue that on my own and also within the college itself, I'm involved with a group called Split Pillow. And Split Pillow is an alternative filmmaking cooperative here in the city. And it's a great opportunity for filmmakers to become involved and collaborate with each other. I also am involved in a media literacy outreach program for them. So it's actually quite a very exciting time for me. I feel that I'm energized by everyone here at Columbia and all the links I've been able to make outside of the school. My primary goal for my students is to get them to understand, first of all, that they have a voice and they can make a difference. Number one. Secondly, that money isn't everything. We live in a time when certainly bottom line mentality and business drives the arts. And that's fine. I never believed in being a starving artist myself, and certainly for all the time that I spent in financial services, I have to admit I am a capitalist. At the same time, there's a limit, and we should understand that. And making money is what keeps our livelihood going, our community going, but we also have to understand that comes with an obligation to really give back and to be fair. So that's the second thing. And then thirdly, I think I want my students to understand that this all comes down to understanding what their ethical code is, that there are limits, that greed is not good when taken to the extremes of, if I can refer to Gordon Gekko in Wall Street, Oliver Stone's Wall Street. a film made 20 years ago and yet still resonates today as if it was made just today. And those are the three primary attributes, issues, beliefs that I want my students to understand. Now those are beyond what, let's say, what a classroom syllabus might say. So certainly this is all wrapped up in the context of understanding the art world, the entertainment world, in my particular case, the world of media that we live, understanding the structure, understanding who owns what and how it influences us, and as well as understanding the need to have very practical and skillful abilities. Take your talents, learn them, apply them, work hard. So there is certainly this importance of being able to be the best you can through your studies, through your practical classes, and applying them, but still beyond that is the foundation of your own beliefs, your own voice, finding that voice, knowing you can make a difference, and then realizing you do that for money, you are smart about it, but you aren't greedy. The balance of art and commerce is delicate, and I think it's even more precarious today than ever before, because as citizens, as members of a community, it seems as if we are really commodified, that today more than ever we are looked at as nothing but consumers. So in dealing with students, in mentoring them, in talking to them, in teaching, in guiding, I think what I try to explore with them is the idea of, as artists, what is the voice that you have? Always returning to that. And how can you make that meaningful, which doesn't mean it isn't entertaining, but how can you make that meaningful and treat your audience as if it is an engaged audience who wants something, wants to laugh, who wants to cry, who wants to think, and not as an audience you want to pay, you want to get money from. I think that's the most important thing. Don't think of your audience, don't think of what you're creating as something that is strictly a commodity. And if we do that, I think we will have much higher quality production values and stories to tell. An example of this is this season's premiere of the AMC television show Mad Men. It's remarkable that, first of all, you have a somewhat melodramatic series on AMC, which is a cable station that is known for primarily movies and then reality television, who this season, the fall of 2007, has produced a television series that looks into the advertising world of the early 1960s. And it is remarkable. The production values cannot be beat. The acting is superb. The script is funny, it's sad, it's touching, and it's complex. And it has become a success. There was a concern that AMC was going to not renew this series for a second season because of its cost. And you could tell that it cost a lot of money because of the production values, because of the fine writing. But what AMC realized is that they received such buzz from this, that they were reaching an audience, that they were suddenly being talked about as an alternative to HBO and Showtime. That is great news. And so they have taken the risk to say, we'll spend more money. We're not sure we're really even breaking even on this, but we know that it is adding to not only our brand and our image, but that it's something that is worthwhile to pursue. And I think the more that we are able to find examples of that, those should be brought to students and shown there's art and there's commerce, and they can work together. They are not mutually exclusive. You don't have to dumb down. You don't have to go after the cheap buck to be successful. You can create, and you can create something that is really challenging and engaging with high production values and be a success at it. One aspect of engaging students in talking about ethics is that I suggest that they go to this website called Greed versus Good. And it actually is a survey. And it has these questions: what would you do if? Would you prefer to have a lifetime of memories with your children? Or would you prefer to have $10 million? You know, these kinds of questions, and they're quite fun, and it's rather tongue-in-cheek. But at the end, then it rates you, and it gives you these your score, and you can be Mother Teresa, or you could be Saddam Hussein, and it's just a silly kind of way to get students engaged, and it's fun to do that. But it's funny because you have students who will take this test and they will suddenly get the score of Mother Teresa because they're all thinking so altruistically, or maybe they're thinking, well, what is the right answer? But maybe it's just the reality that we actually want to do what's compassionate, and we want to do something that's meaningful. It's funny that when you then talk to students and you ask them, do the ends justify the means? It's remarkable how many students will say that yes, the end does justify any means you take to get there. And that's the battle, and that's what I really struggle with. One thing that we try to do here within the Arts Management Department, and I think it's also something that Columbia College does across all of its departments and schools, is to get students to take what they're learning in the classroom and apply it. So if we look at arts management, what we would have is students would work on a marketing plan or a business plan. And the question is, how then do they take that and apply it? One of the things that we're doing in the department here is that we, in collaboration with the television department and with the music department, we are producing a television talk show called Musician Studio. And Musician Studio the concept is very basic, very straightforward. It's an interview. And we actually have the publisher of Downbeat magazine, Frank Alkire, as the host, and he interviews musicians who talk about the art and business of making music. Because knowing their music is very important, we do include sampling of their music. They play acoustically or they'll sing a cappella, but they will give us a taste and flavor of the music so the live audience, it's shot before a live audience, knows something of this musician, and the television viewing audience would get that as well. So it's a nice foundation from which the interview goes. This whole show, outside of the top levels of executive producer, director, and floor director, all the other roles are assumed by students. And it is one way that allows them to put to work exactly those skills and the knowledge that they've gained in their academic studies. Now, for arts management students, one of the aspects that we are struggling with is marketing. And for this particular kind of program, you have two markets. You have your live audience, and you have a television viewing market. They may be quite different, especially because we're shooting this in a college. So you're trying to reach a young college audience for the live interview, and yet on television you want a broader audience because, of course, we're hoping that parents will see this and think, this is great. My son, my daughter, maybe this is the school for them. Maybe this does make sense that they explore Columbia College. So it's a challenge. And what we're hoping to do, we haven't done this yet, but we would like to turn this into a course that allows students to use this as a foundation from which they could develop a marketing plan. What has happened is that I have had students who undertake independent studies and research this program and what we're doing and come up with a marketing plan or an alternative business plan on how other similar kind of programs could be produced. And this is invaluable for students because it allows them to really be working on quite a professional production, apply what they've learned here at school, and then go even further and develop plans that may allow them to pursue their own entrepreneurial ventures once they leave the college. That's just an example of how we're trying to make it actually much more hands-on than just time in the classroom, just theory, but have the practice involved in that. In terms of future plans, it's a balance for myself. It's a balance between what I would like to achieve here in the college and then what I would like to achieve personally. And I'm just, as I had mentioned, this is my first year as a tenure track faculty member, so I'm just starting to work on putting together a plan that will allow me to achieve some things within the college. Certainly one of those has been started with this musician studio. The idea of working with other schools across the college to be more collaborative so that we can get students working across these disciplines, because convergence is really where all arts and entertainment is today. It's not that it's heading there, we're there. And that's certainly something I would like to do more of. Personally or professionally, I have worked on, now I feel so LA, I've got the screenplay that's written and sitting in the bottom drawer, and which needs to be rewritten, but who knows whether we'll get to it. But I am working on a short film that needs to be flushed out, but it's based on a one-act play by August Strindberg. And so, again, what I'm trying to do, put into practice, some of what I try to teach my students, is look around you. Theater, music, visual arts, what can you grab from these other disciplines and incorporate into the discipline that you love so well? So here is this one act that I'm quite fond of, and it's very, very modern, even though it was written in the latter 19th century, and a play that I think is meaningful today and has filmic qualities. And that's something that I would like to work on. And what I'm trying to say is that the future is bright, hopefully, but I'm always looking for new ventures. And one of the advantages of being here at Columbia College is that my students are a great source of motivation and thoughtfulness. And whether it's developments within the college or outside the college, I think it's great to be in this kind of setting that is very exciting and that I can learn and grow with my students. Hopefully, they do the same with me. Parents have always been concerned about students going into the arts, and arts management continues to be a challenge. It certainly is a concept that I don't think many people even understand, even those professionals working in the arts. But one of the things that we've been able to convey to parents, and I think has made them much more comfortable with this idea, is that these are very practical skills that will serve a person, an individual, a student, forever. These are life skills. Whether that's balancing your own checkbook, or understanding rates of return on a mortgage, or being able to go out and take that passion and start a business and be an entrepreneur, and then say, but am I even going to break even on this venture? These are pretty simple concepts, but something that as artists we rarely address. And the fact that we are allowing students to continue to be artists, but giving them these real basic financial and management skills, parents are starting to see the value in that, as are our students, and that's great. The truth is, you have a student who comes here who is passionate about being in the television industry. Of course, what does that mean anymore? We investigate that here. But being in the television industry, and after 4 years, they're saying, oh, no interest. I read Desperate Networks, and I just can't imagine that executives actually act like they're in high school. I'm more mature than that, and this is too cutthroat, and it's too stressful. I don't want to do this. They leave here. They have a great degree. They have achieved very practical skills that they can apply anywhere. They can bring this out to a not-for-profit organization in something that they may feel the environment. We have a lot of students who are really becoming much more passionate about having to work so that we have a cleaner environment. This concept of the green country, sustainability. Coming out of an art school with these management skills, very, very transferable to that. We even have a student who was in the music concentration here, was fed up, left, went into banking. Whatever your chosen career path is, once you leave the school, that's something that hopefully you will, as a student, be secure that you've found your voice and you can take that path wherever you want. So I think we're actually doing a good job of conveying this to parents, that an arts management degree is sort of hedges the bet that their artist children can succeed and be successful out there in the real world. Students who enter the Arts, Entertainment, and Media Management department here really come with a pretty solid arts background. And I think that says something about our society, that they recognize that if they want to succeed as an artist, they need some very practical business skills and financial skills to do that. It's also very sobering. Students realize that, oh, maybe I can't be the next Kanye West, but boy, I could manage the next Kanye West. And so I have the ear for music, I have the appreciation, I have the talent. Maybe it's not the superior talent that will get me to the top of the heap, but I can recognize it. Let me pursue talent management. I can produce. I understand what it means to work with not only GarageBand, but Pro Tools, I mean, you name it. My students are much more familiar with this than I am, especially when it comes to making music. But I need to understand how I can finance this. I need to understand if I'm going to take a band on tour, maybe some business and maybe some management skills will actually help me. The complaint in feature filmmaking, over and over and over again, you've heard it probably since the days of filmmaking started 100 years ago to today. They can't manage their way out of a scene. Why are we always over budget? Why are producers go crazy, executive producers go crazy? Why can't they manage this production? And a lot of it's because your assistant directors, the crew, the gaffer who has a crew below him or her, they don't understand what it means to work on a team. They don't understand what it means to manage individuals. And so we're able to provide that. And I think you are getting students who recognize they need to be more efficient, they need to be more effective, and that we can give you those skills to be able to do that.
Mary, thanks for talking to us.
Well, thank you very much, and this was a delight.